I aimed for this from the very beginning. Like, from the very beginning, I remember I saw my first women's MMA fight, and I was just like, I could destroy those girls right now. Like, I really thought from the day that I started, from what I just knew from judo, that I could be I was the best fighter in the world. I always thought that I could beat any woman in the world.
That attitude that nobody has the right to beat me. I don't care what you want, I don't care who you are, I don't care where you're from, you don't have the right to beat me. Not many athletes have that.
With only 4 pro bouts in 11 months, Ronda Rousey has armbarred her way into a Strikeforce championship bout against Misha Tate March 3rd on Showtime. Tate has 3 times as many fights and should be the favorite. But Ronda Rousey isn't your typical mixed martial artist.
She's gonna try to armbar you?
She said that in an article or something like that. I'm like, no, this chick's delusional. She says I'm delusional. Are you kidding me?
In Ronda's household, judo was a mandatory endeavor for all the Rousey women. Ronda's mother, Ann Maria, was the first American to win a World Judo Championship in 1984. Judo empowered Ann Maria, which is what she wanted to pass on to her daughters. Ronda showed the greatest aptitude for judo, which eventually took her all the way to a bronze medal in the 2008 Summer Olympics. It wasn't an easy road to the top. Ronda had to overcome brain damage at birth that slowed her ability to speak until age 6, and then her father's suicide 2 years later. Judo helped fill the void.
I just always loved that judo was something where there isn't one right way to do anything. It's just, my mom was like, as long as it works, then it's right.
From the time she was little, I taught her arm bars. They could do arm bars at the high school nationals. And that's the first tournament on the circuit to make in the junior world team. And so I told her when she was in the 8th grade, I said, we're going to arm bar you every time you breathe. By the time you get into the 9th grade, no one is going to be able to catch you.
Did you just have to compete against boys a lot, or?
Sometimes, because there weren't that many girls, so if I went to like a local tournament, a lot of times they just throw me in the boys division, which I always put so much more pressure on myself. I hated it because I felt like, I'm the one that trains more than these guys, and if I lose them, that means that girls in general just suck. So every single time I fought a guy, it was like really a lot of extra pressure for me, like I had to win.
There's so many things that she would get mad about that now in retrospect she appreciates. Like I would see kids that they depended on their coach being there. And so I would send her off to a tournament like with somebody else's mom where there wouldn't be any coach, not her own coach, but no coach, and she would just have to fight. And she'd come back, they all hated me, and they tried to cheat me, and you weren't there to stand up for me. And so you know what, someday you're gonna be in Europe all by yourself. And you're gonna have to be used to fighting with nobody in your corner.
I was always being pushed to do more than I had to. And this is a really interesting line she'd always give me. She's like, well, you're not just aiming to be the best in the world, you're aiming to get so good that you can win every match twice on a bad day, because you're not always going to have a good day and they're not always going to give it to you the first time.
If Misha thinks she could strike with her, she'd be tripping.
I didn't think women could fight. I didn't think girls could fight. When Darren Harvey, manager of Ronda Rousey, brought her to me, I said, okay, I might, put her with the pros. She could train in the mornings, but I wasn't spending much time with her for the first 3-4 months. And I noticed that she really wants to train. She used to come here earlier than everybody else and, work hard. And I said, okay, I'll give her a try. And then she had her first amateur fight. So I worked with her for maybe a week, 2 weeks, a little bit more serious, and I took her. When she was about to walk in the cage, I see like a real fighter going into the cage to fight. And then she finished the fight right away. I could see what, she could do, and I said, all right, I think I should work with this girl.
With the right. And wow. There she is. There it is, looking for the armbar.
If I have to single-handedly, make this sport seem marketable again to, everybody in the UFC and all that, I will do it. I can do anything, because I was raised to think that if you put in enough work, you can do anything.
You actually have revealed a lot about yourself already in your short time in mixed martial arts. You had a speech impediment when you were younger that you had to deal with and fight through, and you had to deal with your father's suicide. Why do you choose to open your life that way?
I have to, it's not like I kind of taken responsibility on myself. No one asked me to, but I feel like I have to try and just keep this whole sport going. I have had a very unconventional life, and I think it's something that a lot of people would be interested in. And if I'm trying to generate interest, then I'm willing to, you know, expose a lot of what's happened to us and leave it open for people to criticize and make judgment about, because I feel like I don't really have any other option.
She's said some things that people might consider mean to her opponents. Christiane Cyborg Santos recently tested positive for steroids. Ronda's been very vocal about what a letdown that was for the sport, even hinted at one point that, you know, she might have male genitalia. Is that too far?
No, I think Ronda was absolutely right. Well, I don't know if she has male genitalia or not, but I mean, you know, people say you're kicking somebody when they're down. That's BS. It's not like she got a hamstring injury. She cheated.
Why was I the only one? That's what I'm asking. Why am I the only one that said something? Why? It's not so terrible what I said. I think it's terrible that no one else was saying anything.
What type of role model do you want to be in the sport?
I want to be viewed as somebody who knew what they wanted and had plenty of people telling them reasons why they couldn't do it and did it anyway. You know, I want girls to feel like that they're capable of doing absolutely anything, regardless of how many people give them how many reasons of why they can't.